I want to chat with you about a marketing mistake that almost no one wants to admit to out loud because it, on the surface, feels kind of small, but in practice, it's one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Marketing mistake number 17 is not responding to comments or direct messages. And before your shoulders tense up, let me just say this really clearly. This is not about being bad at business. This is not about being rude. And this is definitely not about not caring. Most of the artists who struggle with this are overwhelmed. They're tired, they're stretched thin, not disengaged, okay? But here's the uncomfortable truth that I also need you to sit with. From the client's perspective, silence is never neutral. Silence communicates something whether you intend it to or not. When someone comments on your post or sends you a DM or reacts to your story, they are raising their hand. They are saying, I see you, I'm curious, I might trust you. And what happens next matters far more than people realize. Because clients rarely decide to book you in one moment. They decide based on how it feels to interact with you. Connection precedes conversion, friends, every time. Now, let's name what this looks like in real life, okay? You see a comment come through while you're busy. You think, I'll reply to this later. Later turns into tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. Or you see a DM that feels awkward to answer or vague, or like it might turn into a long conversation that you don't really have the energy for. So you leave it unread or unopened or unanswered. And eventually, enough time passes that replying feels uncomfortable at best. So you don't. This is far more common than people like to admit, especially for burnt out artists, those who have been doing this for years, who are already feeling behind, who are juggling bookings, life, and a business that doesn't quite feel stable yet. But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. When someone reaches out and they don't hear back, they don't usually think, oh, they must be busy. They think, maybe they're not that professional. Maybe they don't need the work. Maybe I'm bothering them. Maybe this isn't the right fit and this isn't the artist for me. And then they quietly move on. No follow-up, no confrontation, also no second chance. This is why ignored messages equal missed opportunities. Not because every DM was a guaranteed booking, but because every DM was a moment to build trust. And trust is fragile, especially online. Here's something important that I really want you to hear. People don't reach out randomly. Even a casual comment takes effort. Even a short DM requires emotional energy. So when someone engages with you, they are already warmer than you think. Responding isn't about selling. It's about acknowledging. It's about signaling safety. It's about letting people feel seen. And this is where many artists unintentionally sabotage themselves and their businesses. They treat engagement as optional, as extra, as something they'll get to when things calm down. But engagement is the relationship. If your marketing brings people to the door, your responses are what invite them inside. Now, let's reframe this in a way that removes some of the pressure, okay? You don't need to respond perfectly when someone reaches out to you. You don't need to respond instantly when someone reaches out to you. You don't even need to respond with long or polished messages. You just need to respond consistently. Consistency builds trust faster than eloquence ever will. A short, warm reply does more than a beautifully crafted message sent that's sent too late, right? A simple acknowledgement keeps the door open. Silence closes it. That's what I want you to hear. So let's talk about how you can correct this without adding more stress to your life, because I know you're busy, right? Here's your actionable task. Block off 15 minutes today, okay? Just 15, that's it. Set a timer if you need to, and during that time, do only one thing. Reply to old comments or unanswered DMs. Not all of them, not perfectly, just meaningfully, right? A thank you for sharing this. And I appreciate you for reaching out. And I'm so glad that this resonated with you, whatever. You're not trying to close a sale. You're just reopening connection. That's it. This small habit, repeated consistently, changes everything. Because when people feel acknowledged, they feel respected. And when they feel respected, they're far more likely to book even weeks or months later. This is where so many artists underestimate the long game. Someone might comment today, watch silently for months, and then book when the timing is right. But only if the relationship feels intact. And that relationship is built in the small moments between then and now. Not big marketing campaigns, not the perfectly curated posts, the replies, okay? This is also why response time matters. Not because you need to be available 24/7, and I don't believe that to be the case at all, but because delayed responses create uncertainty. Uncertainty kills momentum in marketing, and momentum is what turns curiosity into commitment from your clients. Now, if part of you is thinking, I want to respond better, I want to have a system. Yeah, that's not a personal failure, it's just a structure gap. And structure is exactly what I help with inside of the Hennapreneur app. Inside the app, we talk all about things like how to manage engagement without burnout, how to respond warmly without overextending yourself, and how to build trust in ways that feel human, not performative. So your business doesn't rely on you being on all the time, just you being intentional all the time. If you want your marketing to actually work with you instead of against you, download the Hennapreneur app and give yourself support where it matters most, because responding isn't about obligation, it's about opportunity, and you deserve to stop leaving those opportunities unanswered.